Okay, happy August, everyone. Pretty into the summer here. We're approaching only a few weeks left of official summer, which is kind of depressing because it feels like we were just in May saying the summer was beginning. But we got a couple birthdays coming up. Ricardo's on Saturday, Lily and David on Sunday. So happy birthday to you guys who have birthdays for the rest of this month. And again, I misintroduced Anika last week, so I just want to say her last name is Atkins, Anika Atkins, and she actually already did her first rental in less than a week and a half being licensed. So congratulations to Anika. Again, if you know of anyone who is looking for a change, let me know. Again, if they're an experienced agent, there are some bonuses available and things like that. We can talk about that. But again, always looking for new people who would fit in well with our team here. I went right for the punch, right? You know, my favorite quote is Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. This is probably a close second. Just do it, right? You know, I'll use Anika again. You know, she started a week and a half ago. She already did a rental, right? We have people who, you know, started a month or two ago, already have things in contract for sales, right? Or accepted offers. And again, I'd like to give a little shout out. And again, I always feel like I'm jinxing it when I say it at this point, but seems like a pretty steady deal. But Peter has an accepted offer on one of the people he's been working with. So congratulations to Peter on that. But again, this business is about doing. It's not about learning, right? You can learn everything as you go. You need to be out there in the field with people to make money in this business, right? Again, I'll do a shout out to Kathy. Kathy, you know, had a couple hours. She went up and she went and visited a bunch of open listing landlords, connected with people, saw some properties, not even posting them yet, right? She's out there, she's doing it, she's in the field, right? And for everyone, just doing it is different, right? For some of you, the just doing it is, I got to call some landlords to get some more listings. For some of you, it's saying, you know what, I got to talk to my sphere of influence and see who's looking to buy something. For some of you, it's taking out active clients that you have. For some of you, it's again posting on RentHub, right? Just sitting through and posting 30 things on RentHub so you'll get one person that's going to work with you. Our job can be tedious, right? Our business, our career can be tedious in terms of the things we need to do to get to a point. But you have to be doing things, right? For some of you who've been in the business longer, maybe it's just reconnecting with clients, taking people out for coffee or drinks. You know, again, if you've been in the business 5, 10, 20 plus years, it's really just making sure you're kind of working your network for many of you. Or maybe it's getting out that listing that you have that's not selling, making sure you're marketing it, that you're sending out postcards on it, that you're talking to people about. Whatever it is and whatever you need to do, just go and do it, right? You know what it is. You can watch every single training I've done over the last 2 years for hours and hours and hours, but it won't make you a dime, right? It will give you knowledge that will help you make money, but you need to be out there in the field, talking to people, showing apartments, previewing apartments. So just go and do it, right? That's it for me on this. Wanted to remind everyone on the 21st, Wednesday the 21st, we are going to be having a barbecue up in Talaman Mountain State Park. It's in Sparkill, New York. It's basically across the GWB, go up about 20 minutes, I think, on the Palisades, and it's right there, right? So it's kind of on the border. Anyone in New Jersey, fairly easy to drive to. Anyone in New York, we're going to be coordinating getting there. So please put it in your calendars. I'll be sending out an RSVP. There are going to be some kind of fun games, softball, basketball, tennis, mini golf, yada, yada. More just to be there, network with other agents, enjoy the time. I believe it's our region, so it's going to be kind of Hudson County, upstate New York City, as well as Fort Lee. And I think the Albanese region, which is kind of like the parts of New York just north of that, of Jersey, just north of that, that are also going to be there with us. So again, great people to network with. Many of you probably have gotten referrals from people in those regions, and really good time to actually come and meet them in person. So put in your calendar. And again, I'll be sending out an RSVP in the next week or two to kind of get better sense of numbers and figure out transportation. Again, I'd like to take a couple minutes just to talk about the market and kind of what's going on out there based on what markets you're working in. Let's see, who would like to talk about it? Peter, do you want to tell us what's going on with the Queens sale market, which you've been kind of taking people out in?
Okay. Just seems like maybe it helped me if it's a little slowing down. It took me a couple of days just to get all my I's dotted and T's crossed to get the offer in. And then after that, negotiations went quick. So instead of people just jumping on things, I had a chance to get my buyer ready and go out there. And I don't know if this is a market update. I'll ask this question now. Maybe we probably get tons of email blasts from other agents, open house, price reduction, blah, 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 blah. But I've been looking at some of them, and these are houses like in Nassau County that before there'd probably be a bidding war on it. And now people are spending time sending emails about it. Does anybody notice something like that too? I said, hey, I may have a buyer for this house. It's the right price, right location. That's just like my feelings over the past 4 or 5 days. Just a thought.
Yeah.
What's everybody think?
And Peter, you're going to be getting a little bit different update than most of the people on this call, just because those are from LIBOR versus from REBNY.
Yes.
But again, my sense, and Doug can probably comment on this, with the Westchester deals and some of the Jersey deals he's working with, it's definitely a little slower, and things aren't selling, in 2 minutes like they were, 2 months ago.
That's true. That's definitely going on in Westchester. It's things are, there's still multiple offer situations and things like that, but it seems to have slowed. I don't know if it's just because it's the middle of the summer kind of thing or the end of the summer, but it seems that you're not getting this hyper pace, 10 offers, and that kind of thing. It seems to have slowed a little bit in Westchester.
Definitely. And I think Doug brings up a good point. I think there are two things happening right now. One is, again, we are in kind of the quote unquote summer market, right? End of July, beginning of August, up and through Labor Day, there's usually a pause. I would also argue that pause is exacerbated and will be exacerbated because of the upcoming election, right? We've got the midterm elections happening, in November. My sense of the cyclical nature of, every 2 years is that there tends to be a pause even after Labor Day, sometimes through, and again, I felt this, 2 years ago, through the election happening, and right after the election happened and people knew the results, that's when things started moving. And again, there's always going to be people who are happy or upset about election results, right? I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on, how left, right, or middle you are. There are going to be winners and losers, right? And what happens with those actions and what happens with those elections makes people pause. And so until they know what's going to happen or what they can expect to happen, they pause. So, I expect, especially at the higher price points, right? And I think many of you probably agree with this, things that are under 750, maybe even under $1 million, still some action on. Higher priced places tend to be sitting there a bit longer. Ellen, I don't know if you want to talk about your experience with, the listings you've been working on, which are at that kind of, million plus, $1 million to $1.5 million range.
Well, I had 2 offers today for the Park Vendome, so I'm pretty happy about that. But neither of them are where we want to be, and the other one I took off the market because it was overpriced. So that's what I'm seeing. It's summer. It's August. When you're over $1 million. In August, everybody's away. If you could afford $1 million, you could probably afford a summer house or a vacation. So that's what I'm seeing. And I do just want to point out that the Jewish holidays are at the end of September this year, which means that the middle of September, which is often when we start getting more inventory, I don't think we're going to see a real uptick in business until the second week in October.
And again, I would argue that it's not going to be till like mid-November, but we'll see. We can do bets, guys. Maybe at the next meeting we take bets of when the market's gonna improve or something like that. So, the big thing, and again, our talking about this is not to say, oh, doom and gloom or anything like that. The big thing is to plan, right, and to have a sense of how you can talk about the market and what's happening with it, right? We have a lot of great resources, especially for Manhattan and for Brooklyn, in Urban Digs, to see what's happening with the market, right? If you're following certain neighborhoods, you might see days on market going up. You might see prices going down a little bit. Again, every market is going to be different. Every price point within that market is going to be a little bit different. But again, things to kind of keep in mind. And if you need some, actions to have call to actions for buyers, for sellers, and things like that, let's talk about it, right? If you're saying, oh, someone's on the fence, they think X or Y is going to happen, let's talk about it. And maybe they're right, and maybe they're not. And we can talk about how you can better inform your customers, your clients, anyone that you're talking to about what's going on out there. So we'll keep going. Again, just a reminder for anyone who is not on some of these lead sources, we have a number of very easy lead sources, right? These are things that you can do basically one training, one certification course, and start getting multiple buyers within a very short period of time. We have Weichert Direct for both renters and for buyers, and there's a training tonight at 6 o'clock to get on Weichert Direct. Again, you only have to do that once. Lead network, rental network, all the same thing. You have to do it once, you sign the agreement, and then you can start getting leads for those. We've been having a lot of luck with OpCity recently, right? OpCity is owned by Realtor.com. There's between a 35 and 40% referral fee due on these. Nothing's paid up front. We have a number of these that we've closed in the past. And one of our agents has gotten like almost a dozen over the last week. And they've actually been pretty good buyers in Brooklyn and Manhattan. Rocket Homes, again, many of you are working with this. I think Michael's up to his like 14th one that's in contract over the last year. Rocket Homes is a great source of buyers, especially in Queens and the Bronx. We do get some from Street Easy. Those are going to be from some of our more experienced agents who are sharing them with you. Those are ones that, again, are hit or miss, I would say. We've had some really good ones. We've had some pretty bad ones. If you've been licensed for 2 years and you've closed at least 12 deals over the last 12 months, you can get onto relocation. Those are great buyers, sellers, and renters. And again, we are generating tons of leads through the My Weichert system. If you need help with that, Rudolin can definitely help you. Get on her calendar, get going with the neighborhood prospecting. We have a closing in 2 days that 2 of our agents got from neighborhood prospecting, or one got from prospecting, working with another agent. $2.2 million sale happening on Thursday. 0 referral fee due on it, right? Think about the money in their pockets. So again, I kind of hinted at this before, but our next office meeting is going to be September 14th. So much stuff is going on over the next couple of weeks. People are on vacation, there's holidays and things like that. So we're going to wait till after Labor Day for our next office meeting on Wednesday. We will continue to do our Tuesday meetings because those I'm recording and sending out. But given, again, even today, we have a pretty light load on the meeting, we'll kind of give it a break until the 14th to kind of restart and do our kind of kick into what could be the summer or the fall market, or might not be yet. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Again, the workshops are on Tuesdays. Yesterday, we went over how to put in an offer, what needed for an offer, and things like that. I'm looking for more ideas of things you would like me to cover, what workshops you'd like to go over. So please send me an email and I'll decide, and we'll send something out for next Tuesday, what we'll be doing at that workshop. Rudolin is out today, but again, please only use this rsylvain@weichertnyc.com email to send her any deal related information. And again, many of you are very active. If you just want to do a quick check over the next couple days of your money matters and let us know if anything is not showing up in there under active, pending, or in contract, that should be in there. With that, I would like to give it over to Jamie.
Hi, everyone. I don't have a whole lot. I'm in my office right now, so I'm trying to not talk too loud. But anybody that, I haven't met, I haven't been on one of the calls in a little while, so I wanted to get on today, just so you know that I am, your insurance person for all things insurance, home, auto, renters, flood, life, whatever it is you need other than for health. I'm here for you. I do appreciate, all of your guys' hard work. Your hard work is what allows me to do the business that I do. So thank you for sending your clients my way. I really do appreciate it. Remember, we still have the $50 Amazon gift card. There you go, boom. If I take a look at your own personal insurance and review it with you, So if I haven't done that with you yet, please, allow me to do that. And if nothing else, it'll let you see the process that I use when I am working with your clients. So I do thank you all. I am going to try and come to the barbecue. So I'm hoping that
Great.
I'll be able to come to that since I haven't seen many of you live in years. So I'm hoping to be able to be at that barbecue to see a whole bunch of you. So anything you need, please continue to do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamie. And again, free $50 Amazon gift card. I don't know why anyone would not do this. It takes like 10 minutes. And either you save money or you get $50 free, or you get both. So we'll take it from there. Thank you so much. And Doug, we got your slides for you.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Jason. Just going to give you a brief update on the economy and specifically how it relates to retail mortgage rates. The two things that the Federal Reserve watches, or really it's their dual mandate, are jobs and inflation. Jobs are not a problem right now. The jobs report from last week showed over 500,000 jobs are created, which was more than what we expected. The unemployment rate is now 3.5, which is what it was before the pandemic. So we don't have an employment issue from the technical standpoint in this country. We do have an inflation issue, which most of you are aware of. So prior to this jobs report coming out, rates had actually improved over the past 2 weeks. And when the jobs report came out, they went up kind of abruptly. They went up about 3/8 of a point in rate really overnight. So we're still in volatile times. They're kind of choppy waters. The fact that the Federal Reserve looks at inflation, this strong jobs report gives them more ammunition to potentially raise rates, maybe more than they were going to at the next meeting. The consensus is that they're going to keep raising certainly throughout this year and probably into the beginning of next year. And then we don't know so much after that. But we had 2 3/4 point hikes in a row. Whether this next hike is 3/4 of a point or a half a point, it's probably one of those two. But we're not done with these increases. And when the Federal Reserve increases, they increase short-term rates, which affects the costs for banks, the cost of money, which affects long-term rates. But it's an indirect correlation. Let's take a look at the next slide if we could. So this is where we were. The week ended, we were 5.45 on a 30-year fixed. So it's up 0.36, 36 basis points from the previous week. But as I said, this largely went up really overnight. It went up very quickly when the jobs report came out. So this can still happen, which is why I always advise people to lock if they feel they can close within the lock period. The 15-year, you're still under 4.8. So obviously these rates have come up a lot in the last 7 months. They're starting to normalize, not being as volatile, but they're still a lot higher than they were prior. But if we look at the next slide, we've shown this before, but if you look at a 50-year average of the 30-year fix, that would be 7.77. So while we've come up a lot in the last, certainly this year and the end of last year, we are still well below the 50-year average. So rates, people have to get used to these rates. Things cost more than they did 6-7 months ago, mortgage-wise, but we're still actually well below the average of 50 years as far as 30-year fixed mortgage rates go. Let's take a look at the next slide if we could. This is something just to consider. The credit score is obviously a very important component of getting a loan and the pricing of the loan. And many people ask what goes into the score. So the majority of what it is payment history, which makes sense. This is the best ability of your future ability to repay is how you've done in the past. So 35% of the score is your payment history. And then amounts owed. So the amount owed on a credit card, for example, in relation to what you have access to, that factors in as the next highest indicator of what the score will be. And then we have credit mix, length of credit history, and new credit. So when you add all this up, this is what comes out with the score. Generally, people have 3 scores because there's 3 bureaus, not always. And what we use and most programs use is the middle of the three scores to determine the score for the file. Let's take a look at the next slide. We do have, and I've mentioned this before, but we have ways to help correct a credit score, meaning boost it. So if somebody either has an error on the score, on the report rather, we can help them correct it. If there's not an error, but the score is below where they need to be or where we can get them, we can help them get them there. The process is we have a third party that we engage. They tell us what needs to be done. Commonly, it's pay down a credit card to a specific level. The customer does that, gets us proof, and we submit for a rescore, which is generally done within it's usually 3 to 5 business days. So it's pretty quick, pretty cheap. And for some borrowers, it's the difference between, a very good rate and a less than good rate, or even getting the loan or not getting the loan. There's a minimum, there's a floor level for scores for every program. Commonly it's 620. So if somebody was below that floor, they can't get a loan. But if we can help them get above that floor, they can. So this is another reason why we want to get to the customer early during pre-approval, because we might need a little bit of time to boost their credit. This is just another reminder. I think it's pretty obvious, but we're looking at, if you're looking at close, an efficient close, a lot of people are looking at the last couple of days of the month. If you have to do it, that's fine, certainly do it. But if there is a choice, it's better to choose other days other than those. And there's a lot of reasons. People's schedules fill up, movers fill up. There's all kinds of competition to close the last couple of days of the month. So if you do have a choice, you're better off trying to suggest other days to close other than those last 2 days. So here's a trivia question. We talked about credit and how important it is to the rate. So the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have loan level price adjustments. These are add-ons based on the scenario of the loan. So it could be the credit score, it could be the loan to value, things like this. So the question is, this is a trivia question. If you had a $400,000 loan and you had a low credit score, as I mentioned, 620 is commonly the floor. So if they had a 625 credit score and you had a $400,000 loan with a minimum down payment, what could this scenario potentially cost the customer in extra fees at closing? Like how many points basically would they have to pay for having this low credit score? So the choices are $2,000, over $2,000, over $12,000, over $6,000, or a 625 score could not be approved.
You guys can type into the chat box or.
So 2,000, so you have a $400,000 loan. What's basically the penalty for having a low score? So we have 6,000 is one guess from Max.
Yeah, I'm going to say 6,000, Tristan.
Okay, 6,000. Any other guesses? 12,000. Anthony's
How are we
going
gonna
big.
beat Anthony?
And Anthony is very smart because the answer is 12,000. So you can see that's a huge difference. With somebody, if they have minimum down payment, it's probably, they're not gonna have too much easy access to an extra $12,000. So that's where, if I can, for example, get them from a 625 to a 640, that might be cut in half. So it's well worth the exercise to try to boost their credit. And the other thing is, when I have done that in the past, customers really appreciate that because not every lender has the capability or the patience to do it. So when you say to them, well, you were going to have to bring 12,000 extra to closing for your credit score, but now it's only half of that, they're going to appreciate that. Couple of things just to keep in mind. Oh, I think was there another slide? Oh, this is just a survey that we ask customers to fill out surveys, asking them how they felt we did as a company and how I did. This was from Julie. She was a great customer. This was Tom and Leslie's client. Worked with her for quite a while, and she was very happy. She gave me, all the highest marks, and she said I was diligent and helped her navigate the process, and she's grateful. So, obviously it goes to say that happy customers lead to referrals for everybody, and I greatly appreciate Tom and Leslie for referring Julie to me. And the last thing I'll say is we still have just a couple things to keep in mind. We still have commitments for co-ops that we can have issued within 24 to 48 hours. That's pretty huge. If there's someone on a tight timetable, they don't have to wait 4 weeks or whatever for a commitment. We could have it done same week. Julie's, this person up here, we had her done in 24 hours. We have True Far national programs. If you have somebody with income out of the US and they don't have a US credit score, we have programs for them if they're buying an investor property. We also have programs for self-employed. So somebody who owns a cash business and they don't show a lot on their tax returns, we have ways of showing that deposits can be translated into income, rather than tax returns. And then finally, we have a new product, which is really, really sharp with the pricing for high balance loans for somebody who's well qualified. So if you had a 720 credit score, you don't even have to put down 20%. You can put down 10%, but in that range of say 650 to 970 loan amount, we have 30-year fixed pricing that's beating some of the adjustables right now. So adjustables are traditionally, going to be a discount versus the fixed. Our fixed is beating some of these adjustables that are out there. So if you have a client who's in that price range, a loan amount of say 650 to 970, they're going to want to hear about this product. So that's all I have. If I can help anybody with, if you're working with a buyer and you need a pre-approval, or if you're doing an open house and you want an affordability sheet or anything else, just let me know and I'm happy to help.
Sorry, I muted myself. Thank you, Doug. Number of congratulations. Anika, as I mentioned, did her first rental. Congratulations. Again, less than 2 weeks in the business and first rental done. We had a number of rentals: Zach, Josh, Michelle, Ellen, Eunice, Michael, Kelly, Paris, Christine, Anthony, Stephanie, Rebecca, Max, Karen, Suzanne, Michael. I think we had a couple others, but I apologize if I missed you. Contract signed: Marty, Michael, Fatu, Michelle, and Eunice all had new contracts fully executed. Congratulations to you guys. New sale listings: Gina, Ken, and Peter all have new sale listings, so congratulations to you. And we had closings: Ken, Christine, Zach, Stephanie, Will, Leslie, and Tom all had closings. A couple of them had multiple closings. And again, a thank you to Doug and Jamie and Leslie and Tom. Again, we did another all under one roof where we did mortgage, insurance, and represented the buyer. So congratulations to everyone on that. And again, if anyone has any new listings or a listing they need for someone they can't find anything, love to give everyone a moment to chime in. Anyone have a new listing or looking for something for someone they can't find? Going once, going twice. Okay, well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of the day, rest of the week. And if you need anything, let me know. I'm going to stop the recording.